putting an end to identity politics. This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.
You know what I want? I want dreamers to come from this country, okay? You mentioned dreamers. Wait, you mentioned dreamers? I want dreamers to come from the United States. I want the people in the United States that have children. I want them to have dreams also. We're always talking about dreamers for other people. I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also. They're not dreaming right now. And you look at African-American youth, 58% unemployment. You look at African-Americans in their 30 years old and they're 40 years old, and we have an African-American president, and he has not done anything for the African-Americans in this country, okay? And he got a free pass, and he shouldn't have. Because if that were me or if that was somebody else, we would be taking over the coals, believe me. It would not be a good situation. President Obama has done nothing for the African Americans. You look at African American youth, you look at African Americans that are 30 years old, 40 years old, and 50 in their prime, the prime, and take a look at their statistics. It's very sad.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Jackson. It's Kevin Jackson Show. And I love that speech by Donald Trump. And I think that when we need to co-opt the term dreamers, you listen to the Kevin Jackson Show, KJRadio.com, a dreamer. I am a Native American dreamer, born on this soil by the grace of God, allowed to dream by the grace of God. And Donald Trump is spot on when he talks about this, when he makes leftists take responsibility for stealing the dreams of others, the theft of the truth, rewriting history. How many blacks do you think know that Republicans freed the slaves, established the historically black colleges and universities, established the Freedmen's Bureau, which later became the HBCUs, established the NAACP? Everything that gave rights to blacks were pretty much done by Republicans. Civil rights legislation, voting rights legislation, Republicans. Democrats, a legacy of black destruction, all the way from slavery, the lack of civil rights, Jim Crow laws, the black codes, the founding of Planned Parenthood, and the Negro Project that it sponsored, calling black people human weeds, mass incarceration planned, schemed by the Democrats, disarmament of black folks, unionization of America to keep black people unemployed. Is it working? Of course it's working. It's working so well that black people in America today don't even need the oppression of Democrats to segregate. We self-segregate in these urban indoctrination centers set up by leftists who run these armpits, these third world nations called cities in America. I've talked about the destruction of these cities. St. Louis going from 850,000 plus people in the 1950s to 318,000. Run by what since that time? Nothing but Democrats. City of Baltimore losing half its population since 1970. It's now officially under 600,000. If it weren't for colleges and universities or the healthcare system, these cities would implode. Cleveland losing 23 people a day since 1970. And on and on. Population shrinking like crazy. Detroit used to have over 2 million people. It's down to under 700,000. These Democrats want to take your rights away. They marginalize blacks. They want people to vote for them by giving them enough to doing exactly what LBJ said. Give them enough to make them think they're in power or whatever. But don't let them get ahead. The rhetoric of the left, white privilege, check your privilege, Black Lives Matter. They engender this sense of nobility amongst themselves while making black people feel inferior. To even propose white privilege means you believe you have something over me. I completely dismiss that idea. You have nothing over me by your birthright. You know who thinks like that? Aryan Nation. That's who thinks like that. And with a constant drumbeat of slavery and the lack of civil rights for blacks. Talk about dream killers. That's what these people are. They kill people's dreams. I told people, if you want to kill a group of people, take away their families, take away their history, create one that they hate. The history of blacks is American history. And you know what they teach us? They teach us to hate it. So teach them to hate their history. Teach them to hate their birthright. And then tell them how bad that history is. How it's impacting them today. Take away their ability to dream. Take away their ability to, what's the word I was looking for? It's not dream. I used to say it all the time, but when you don't allow me to, imagination, that's the word. When you don't let me use my imagination and wonder what could happen, what are the possibilities of things, you've ruined society. See, that's the thing that we have over everybody in America. We have the most amazing imaginations. That's why nobody can compete with us in the movie industry. When, of course, it was conservative. We had imaginations. We created all the special effects and the things that happen in the movie industry are ours. The innovations that have happened with the cell phone, the innovations that have happened with the computer, the innovations that have happened with the television, innovations that have happened with you name it, all come from the imagination of Americans. We dream bigger than anybody. That's why they call it the American dream. That may offend foreigners. Actually, it doesn't. You know who it really offends? It offends the left. When you talk about the American dream, foreigners aren't offended. They love it. They understand it. Americans get mad. Americans, what are you talking about the American dream? You're trying to make sure like nobody else has a dream. No. They have dreams, little dreams. They want to eat consistently. They want running water. They'd like to have a voice. But no, they can't. They'd like to marry who they want. They'd like to be able to speak freely, religiously, whatever. Practice whatever religion. Not be threatened. They have little dreams. See, all of our dreams are wrapped up in this one word called freedom. And we know we have that. So that's a given. That's like going to your tap and knowing you're going to have clear water. Relatively safe. It's like knowing when you go to the grocery store, you got lots of choices. See, you don't have to think about that. The basics of life. Most people in the world do. So they don't concentrate on their dreams and their imaginations. We can. We can concentrate on this stuff. We can say, you know what? Now that I'm not hungry or have to worry about going to get my 10 gallons of water to boil and washing my clothes in the river or whatever else, I'm wondering what great novel idea could I come up with? Maybe I'll write a book. Maybe I'll write a play. Maybe I'll sing some songs. Maybe I'll work on my job, learn more about my task. Maybe I'll start a second job. I'll start selling this or doing that, or I'll start my own company. I'll buy a house. I'll build a house. I want to go camping. Think about what people are saying in Bangladesh or Nepal. You think they're thinking about, maybe we'll have a camp out this weekend. No, they already camp out. It's where they live, in squalor. They have to worry about where the next meal is going to come from. Food. Can they sell the basket or the rug that they just made? So they have enough money to eat. They don't use their imaginations. The left is shutting down our imaginations. Dream killers. Black kids at over 50% unemployment, and the NAACP focuses on the children of illegals. They want to sue Donald Trump for DACA. And what a gang warfare between Latino gangs and black gangs. Both minority groups lack job opportunities. But you know what? Maurice Scharf in the Hillary Clinton State Department, John Kerry State Department, Barack Obama State Department said, hey, let's get some jobs for ISIS. Aren't they dreaming too? If we got them economic, viability, they would probably not want to fight as much. Hey, I'm just saying, guys, you might want to apply that here in the United States. Unbelievable. And then what about Barack Obama's record in dealing with black folks? All the promises, paying people's mortgages and all these things he's going to get them. Where did he get them? Reduced sentencing in crack cocaine. He gives them Obamacare and something else. I mean, it's ridiculous. But the NAACP wants to sue Donald Trump. If they were going to sue anybody, they should be suing Barack Obama and the Democratic Party. But they're part of the system. I hope Donald Trump takes me up on it and says, I'm going to sue the NAACP.
He won't stop until he's the top-rated radio talk show host in America.
What kind of weird competitive freak are you?
This is the Kevin Jackson Radio Show.